Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Adobe Live, and I'm your host, Chris Blackstock. It is 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I am here once again for day 2 with Angelo Konofaos. Hello, Angelo. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. I'm fine. Excited to be here for the second session. How are you?
Definitely. Doing good. I'm excited too. I feel like I learned a ton of stuff yesterday, and
Yeah, I would
tools that
like to
I've never
see.
used.
Oh, that's great. I would like to see how the design, will go today, like with all the
Yeah,
effects.
yeah. I think it's going to turn out great. If it was anything like day 1, I think day 2 is going to be awesome. So real quick, I just want to let you guys know you got to check out the Creative Cloud Express streams on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday mornings. This week, Claudia from Print My Soul will show how to get started in the easy-to-use app to design an Instagram post and how to make free digital flyers, which is really cool. Then you can join us for the creative encores of the Photoshop Creative Challenges every morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this week, our challenges are logo themed, which is awesome. Everybody needs to know how to do their own logo, or at least get someone to do it. So learn how to create and use logos in the app should be really cool. Also, quick shout out to the chat. As always, without you guys, this wouldn't be as fun. We love talking to everybody. Wade, hello. Thank you for moderating today for us. We've got Steve Festus, Bruce Gonzalez, saw you yesterday, General Kenobi, as always, Gareth Williams, Chris Ellinas, and Irfan Razik. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for showing up. And we're excited to field some questions from you guys, get some funny comments. But yeah, so one more thing. We're doing Artist Spotlight today. I always forget. Day 2 Artist Spotlight. Super fun. You guys can vote for your own artist to be in the spotlight, whether you want it to be yourself or somebody else. Go into the top right corner of the chat. It says chat info, and then you'll see Artist Spotlight. Click on that, fill out the form. And who knows, maybe you or someone you know could show up on the Artist Spotlight. So really fun. All right. That all being said, Angela, we've got you here. It's day 2. We're doing a pure blend. Super
Yeah.
excited. Let's just go through real quick what we did day 1 and what the plan is for day 2.
So yeah, yesterday we had like uh, two ways of lettering, like two different techniques, and I can go through some examples to see how it will be like similar to the final result. So like we did yesterday,
Yeah,
we can
let's
see
do that.
some. Yeah, we can see some examples like what I'm planning to go to this level, the design today. So yesterday we used the mixer brush tool to create the main word, which is the word blend. With the mixer brush tool is a good way to create like 3D effect, which is kind of fake because we don't really use like any 3D tools, but we use this tool to create the lines and yeah, so we can do like a fake 3D effect. And
Yeah, which is
also
really
we're
cool.
using, yeah, and also we are using several effects like adding clipping mask to add shadows, to add highlights, and some different. Yesterday we added some strokes, and today we're going to see even more of them. For example, similar effects like this, maybe some bubbles, maybe some lines like this, or some shadows on the top word. Yeah, by the way, the top word was created in Illustrator, so I had a photo of it and with a sketch, and then we vectorized it on Illustrator with a pen tool, and then we transferred it to Photoshop, so we combined those two words together. So we can go actually to see what we did yesterday.
Definitely.
And
Oh, it's so
this
good.
is where we were. And so yeah, and we have added some of the highlights here, some of the shadows, and we saw some techniques with the pen tool. We're going to use that again today because I'm planning to add more effects like this, some kind of a different texture on each letter. So yeah, I would like to add some more on the L maybe, and D. Yeah, and then we're going to continue with several other effects, but we can see that as we go.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. I mean, like I said before, it's like it almost feels finished already, but I know there's going to be so
no,
much more to it, and it's going to look so much crazier once it's done.
yeah, I would like to add more effects, and especially today that we have people on the chat, I would like to show as many effects as possible so they can ask us, any questions how we did that and
Yeah,
how.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay, so let's see now. We are here. So yeah, we added this line yesterday with some effects. I'm going to find this layer, which is here.
Yeah, and
By
a
the
quick
way,
reminder
yeah.
to everybody. These are all archived. So if you want to check out what happened yesterday, go ahead and get the video. Day one is you can watch it, rewatch it. So if you feel lost at all today, please go back and watch the first video. And this one will also be replayable. So just so everybody knows, I know it looks like this is like a really advanced starting point for day two, but please feel free to watch day one as well.
Yeah, and that's a very good point, because yesterday I had a couple of messages about some people lost the first part about the mixer brush tool, and
Gotcha.
then they found out about the previous video. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have one layer for the shadows again and one for the highlights. But what I notice is that here it doesn't look very good with this corner. So maybe we can expand this. Actually, no, we can make this, add more shadows on that. So if I go to shadows,
right, because it doesn't feel like it's wrapping around as much.
Exactly, yeah.
Cut, yeah.
So maybe I can add more. Yeah, I will use again the pen tool, which is here, because yeah, I would like specific area to have the shadow. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. It's kind of difficult, to select very specific area, but we'll see what we can do. Yeah, I think this will be fine, because as long as this is a clipping mask, it will just paint on the letter. So I will make selection out of it, and with the brush, black color, and let's see how this will be. Yeah, maybe like that, and maybe we can add more of like here. Let's try that. So in this case, we don't really want to go with a clipping mask, because if it's going to be like that, that's very picky detail, but as long as I saw that, I was like, yeah, it would be better to fix that.
Well, I mean, honestly, especially with stuff like this and tricking the eye, those tiny little details are really what push it to the next level.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this makes the difference. That's true. So I will make a new layer above all, but not a clipping mask this time. And I would leave it without the name. I don't know how to name that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So let's see if that would do what I have in mind. Just that. And I think it's better, but we can make it even better. So I will remove some of the line of the white parts.
Yeah, kind of make it flare out just a little bit.
Yeah.
If you guys are watching on YouTube, hello, welcome. Just a reminder that if you come over here to Behance, be able to talk to you guys in the chat. Go to behance.net/Adobe Live and come on over and hang out with us. Wade is the best, and he's helping out the chat today. So if you guys are over on YouTube, hello, and come on over to behance.net/Adobe Live and come hang out with us in the chat here.
So here also I did that yesterday, but I'm thinking the line is too, like, too strong maybe. So I will make a curve here at the top or something more, yeah, maybe like that. And
nice. I like how you're making it kind of a continuation off of that original.
Yeah, exactly, because I didn't like the corner, like how it does very straight here. It would be better to have a curve. So on the shadows first, but let's see if it is maybe a tad to the left. Yeah, I think it's better here. Okay.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool because when you were doing that, I was like, oh, it's kind of an interesting way of doing the 3D because it creates, you know, like
Yeah,
a sharp edge where you maybe wouldn't expect it. But now that
it
you're
adds more
integrating this into
depth.
this kind of like wrap on top or this paper, it's like this is cool.
Yeah, and actually the only thing that doesn't really fit very well is this sign, but
Right.
because it's on top of the shadow. So if I'm going to remove that a bit, it will be better. So let's do the highlights first. So we select inverse and then add some white just to finish with this highlight, and then we can go at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how that is. Yeah, I would prefer the curve to be a bit more smooth, but okay, let's go at the top, and these are the highlights. So we can add a mask to that to just hide this part. See, like this. So we can, it's kind of having a shadow on that, but it's actually hiding the line.
Right. It's these little tricks so you don't have to move it all around to try to make it work or actually I mean these are things that are non-destructive ways of adjusting this stuff.
Yeah, and maybe here I will try to remove some of the shadow because I don't like how the line is very straight here.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe if I erase a bit. Maybe it will not be as good as I was thinking, but we can always do Command Z and undo.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best shortcut, in my opinion.
No, I like it like that. I like the kind of receding back and then coming out again.
Yeah, maybe. So leave it like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that adds to it.
Let's have something on letter N. Maybe we can go with this line and do something like that here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's try that. So we are on the shadow, yeah, and
Daniel Human says this effect is sort of like frosting on a donut. He's like not sure how to describe it.
Oh,
it is. It's got that like melted glaze. There's something.
It really looks like a glaze.
Yeah, there's it could make me hungry later on. I don't know. This is definitely maybe this is lettering specifically for yummy foods.
Maybe we could have the word like donut or something instead of blend, but
donut.
Or we can make the colors later, like this brown color that donuts have.
I think Dunkin' Donuts needs to hire you to do their redesign.
Yeah, we can. Okay, let's have it like this. Even I'm not really sure if this will work, but yeah, we always try that and then we'll see. Okay, so selection and shadows. So I will give some of kind of a 3D, like the letter N at the bottom is going like a page maybe. Well, kind of. So I will try to, I will have it like this. So it's kind of this
kind
corner.
of lifting off a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and if we add the highlights too, it will be better, I think. Yeah. I think it's close to what I wanted. Yeah. Maybe if we had this line more on the... no, we can keep it like this. And okay, we can add something here as well. We can add like, maybe a line like this. So yeah, we are on letter D. We don't have a shadow here, so we're going to add a new layer for shadow. And maybe it would go.
And don't let all the layers fool you. This is a very organized project. Everything has been labeled. Everything is right where it needs to be.
I wonder if you're going to say the same in the end. It will be worse.
It's just going to get worse, folks.
Yeah. Because later there isn't a good way to organize them, because I would like the layers to be between the letters, so I can't really add them on a group. They will have to be
right. You kind of just have to do it layer by layer.
Yeah.
There's definitely times with especially painting as well, where I think I'm getting closer to the end, and you're kind of just doing all these finishing details, and there's just a place where it's like I know where I could overstep and kind of go too far, so I tend to end up making a lot of like detail layers at the end that, like you said too, that I want that to sit on top, but it's a highlight layer, but these are like specular highlights or little, dashes of light or something that I want to be able to move around or delete at will.
Or you can have the same things. So later we're going to add some bubbles, and because some bubbles I would like to have them on the front, some on the back. So yeah, it will be kind of each bubble will have its own layer, so there will be many of them. And so in this case we have to color the layer, of course, just we can recognize which is what. Okay, so
which is a cool way to do it, if you can't group something, or if you can't have them next to each other, it's like to have a color reference. So when you're visually scrolling through your layers, you can like, okay, these guys are all a part of the same the same group. I just can't group them together.
Yeah, and especially in this case, I use it a lot. Like, when we have, as you said, similar effects or similar objects, it's good to maybe a bit.
Yeah, I don't do that, and I think I'm going to be doing that now, actually. It's not a bad idea.
Okay, highlights. By the way, yesterday I had on Instagram someone tagged me on a post, and he had tried something similar, and I think he used to get similar colors as well, because it was this purple, and I was like, yeah, that's very satisfying.
Like
it was obvious that he was one of the audience, I'm sure, because it was really similar with the colors, and it's very nice, to inspire others to.
I was gonna say, was it kind of cool to see that technique being picked up so quickly and like reused, and somebody exactly, like being like, I want to go do that.
Yeah, and okay. Here, I'm not sure. Maybe I will remove some of the shadow because I think it's too much, like here. And so, yeah, let's remove some.
I think the way that you're doing this too always reminds me that, you can have kind of this lighting that you have in your head, but the cool thing when you're painting and it's not in a 3D program or anything, it's like you can kind of make the adjustments that you want to make it look better than what it maybe would be realistically, right? Like it's like you're adjusting it on the fly so that it's visually pleasing, more so than it's like this perfect lighting and it has to come from this direction, and it's
exactly
like,
That's
which I think
why
is
sometimes
important.
that's why sometimes I prefer it than a 3D software, because you have total control on how you can light whatever you would like, whatever you want, and not follow like the normal lighting of the light object.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
so yeah, if I would like to add a shadow anywhere, I can add it manually.
Right.
But
Exactly.
on 3D software, we have to put a specific light to have this shadow, and it's kind
Yeah.
of yeah.
Or you'd have to do it in like post-processing after, it's like,
Yeah,
okay, we're gonna, I'll render it and then I'm gonna go on top and paint on top, or
yeah, exactly. Okay, now I'm not sure which layer am I. Okay, and yeah, I'm kind of trying to make the shadow a bit more realistic here. And I think I'm going to remove some part. I will add something here on the bottom. Probably will be better. So yeah, let's go here. And many times I would like to add some bubbles, like in the edge of its shape. So here or here. And so I'm going to try that now. So we're on D2, and we're going to add a perfect circle selection, which will match that. So thanks to keyboard shortcuts, I can have a perfect circle and move it around. And I will add some shadow here on the outside. So it's kind of, there is a bubble making the shape of D.
Gotcha.
At least how I imagine that. I don't know if that makes other people.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think people are, the chat's looking forward to the bubbles. I think everybody's waiting.
Okay. We're going there. So yeah, like this. So it's kind of going forward, like, to be out of the image, but still fits with the line and the shape. Okay, and here I'm going to add some, when you look at a bubble, that there is a sign going like that on the one side, and like, more signs on the bubble.
Yeah, it's reflecting all of the light sources, right?
Exactly.
It's not just
yeah.
usually one.
And we can also add something like, I was planning to do this later, which I will, but maybe we can add some, something like this with the gradient tool, or even here. No, a lot more later, but let's add one. Yeah, because this is a clipping mask, so we need another layer to have more freedom on putting outside this shape.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this is a bubble, but now we're going to create a bubble from scratch. So, and we will use it multiple times throughout the design.
Okay.
So I'm going to make a big bubble because I will not want, later maybe I would like to increase the size, so I want to have the quality.
Right.
So I'm going to select again the circle selection, and yeah, let's go here maybe. So that's large enough. And okay, and I will go at the top so will not be confusing with the other layers. So let's go
Carol's yelling at you, save.
Oh yeah. That's
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Carol. Yeah. Okay, now we're safe.
Yeah, now we're good. Now we can make bubbles.
Yeah, maybe in like 15 minutes or so, remind me again.
Yeah, somebody yell at us again to save in 15 minutes. Good idea. That's really what the live chat is for. It's just to yell at you to save.
Exactly. Okay, so I have taken a smooth brush and white color, and I'm making like, some easy moves with the pen. You can do with the mouse too, but it will be a bit harder, but and it will be nice to have some lights based on these colors. So because imagine that the bubble will reflect also the colors from the letters, so purple and blue. So I'm going to select maybe a hard blue color, like this one. It's not very hard, so I'm going to make it a bit harder manually. Yeah, let's try that. So if you'd like to have more freedom and to be more careful, you can add different layers for each color. But I'm going to do it on the same layer, so we'll not have too many layers. And maybe a purple as well. This is too dark.
And this is just a general rule with doing lighting and looking at refracted light, bounce light, fill light, all these things. It's gonna reflect the color that's around it.
Yeah.
So this is really important to do that.
Yeah, and yeah, maybe like that. You can play and have any shape you like with the lights. But now I'm going to add again some white on top. So yeah, let's choose white again, because white is the main reflection of the light. As long as the light is the color of the light is supposed to be white.
Right.
That's why I use the white color here for the highlights and mostly, yeah. Okay, so maybe I can add something like, okay, I would like to add a light highlight like this on the bubble side, like a new reflection. So I'm going to create this technique that I was saying yesterday that I learned that from another Adobe Live last year. So I'm going to create a new layer. And so credits to Rick Oostenbroek for this technique.
All right, see, Adobe Live, man, is teaching the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I learned about this, and this very clever technique. So I'm taking the so I have the selection, but it's fine for now because I'm happy with the colors outside. I may be able to choose the same selection later, so it's fine. So I have a new layer here. I'm taking the gradient tool, this maybe that circular, yeah, like this. So you can create like that, like this light, and then if you click Command T, so you can free transform it and choose it like this, then you can do something like that. And
that's a cool way to do it.
Yeah, very cool way. And the light can be more smooth, and you can have more realistic results. And even better, you can create something similar but with two colors, which is even cooler. So I'm taking the grading tool again.
And this, your radial gradient is just pressed, right? It's the circular. Yeah. So it's your gradient tool, making sure the radial gradient is selected.
So yeah, I have one white, and then I will change the color to a purple one, maybe a bit brighter. Yeah. And it will be in the middle. So you can have even more colors, I guess, but yeah, like that. So the same, Command T, and then like that. So it is, maybe from here, just kind of have two colors. You can add more
Right.
colors. You can make it even brighter. Maybe if it was the opposite, so we have purple on the outside and white in the inside, maybe it would be more, because the bright usually it's kind of on the inside. But yeah, we can try with these, and I think the purple color doesn't really fit this in this case, but I will take the white one. And
That's a really cool. It's a cool technique because it
yeah,
feels sometimes those are hard to get for that perfect shape. So kind of it's a good way to start out with that perfect circle and then bend
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So let's get rid of that one. I'm not going to use that. And I will duplicate that again, just to have also another one on the other side, maybe a bit smaller, and change the shape a bit. It does look like a bubble, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's starting to look.
Maybe if I make it that a bit, not so bright. I don't know if I don't have the person sensitivity. Yeah. Okay. Yes, and then we can let me try have one more of that smaller, but no, I think it's too much. No. But I think it would be nicer to have a bit brighter white on the edges. So I'm going to make the selection again. I know this is kind of risky if I don't have exactly the same selection, but I have done it many times, and yeah, I think it's fine. get used to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I would prefer to be like that, and no. And imagine that this bubble will be much smaller, so all of the details will not be so obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And
these are going to be sitting on top of the letters as well, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
some of that will be that'll be cool, seeing the letters and stuff kind of shining through as well, which will kind of change the look of the bubble.
Yeah, I think if we like to make it more realistic, we need some shadow on the back. I think it's too bright. Oh. I know I'm doing a lot of undo moves here, but yeah, I would prefer to be like, no.
Well, and this is also what you're going to be using. You're going to be replicating this and kind
exactly.
of adjusting
So
it, right? Yeah.
I would like to be as good as possible. Okay, I think. Yeah, I think we can go with that. So what I'm going to do is to make it a smart object. So I'm going to rename it first to bubble because I merged the layers. So I right click and make it a smart object because I would like to make it to have freedom on make it large or small. So this way it will not lose the quality when I will make it small and then big. Okay, that's fine. So I duplicate it now. First, I may do it, change the color to something like, red. And I duplicate it. Oh, it looks good actually. Duplicated on top of each other. But not that much, maybe there. Okay, let's merge this again then. And make that red. Maybe do that smart object again. And okay, now that we have the new one, we can make it small. And we can start adding bubbles wherever we'd like. So
Nice.
we can add some, yeah, we can add some here. Maybe have a variety of sizes. We can also rotate that so they will look like different bubbles. So the colors will not be on the same side. This way we may lose the signs on the correct position from the light, but we can control that if it will not be too obvious. Yeah, maybe another one too. Much smaller. So now we're starting to have even more layers, and
yeah, this is where it gets crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe here we can hide that one behind the letter B. So we're going to take that one behind the letter B. This is where it gets confusing, and that's why I suggest to have, like, your layers as much organized as possible. And it's here. So yeah, we have it behind. We're going to add some shadows on that, but let's continue with the bubbles. We can add some in this corner too.
So now what makes you decide to use like bubbles on letters, or like what is it usually the type of letters you're creating, or is this something that you like to add to a lot of the works?
The truth is that I'm using bubbles many times because I'm kind of, the last months I like using bubbles because I like how they look. But it makes more sense to be inspired by the letters and what's the meaning behind what we have. So here we have blend. What can we do with blending? Maybe we could use something like ink or splashes with ink. We can do that actually too. I will add some splashes. But yeah, I used bubbles for this time because it's kind of interesting for people to see how we can create that from scratch and use it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And so yeah, it depends each time, but I think, or maybe we can rotate that. Yeah,
it can be used as influencing the actual design of the letters or what the letters are saying, but it also looks super cool. So
yeah, so yeah, sometimes you don't really follow the design process, but just what it looks good. I mean, as long as this design doesn't have a purpose of marketing or something, we can use whatever we would like in this case. It's not completely. For a client, it's not for, yeah. So we basically we showing techniques how to create these. Okay, now I would like this bubble to be bigger, and if I didn't have it as a smart object, it would lose the quality. So
right, it would degrade. It would be pixelated.
Exactly, yeah. So maybe we can add one here. Okay, oops. And okay, I will not add many more, but maybe. And yeah, I don't know. We can add more later if you'd like, but if we like, but yeah, maybe one here. Okay, so let's now. I have this big one. We can add a big one on the background, maybe. and will be somewhere here, not that big. It will not be so obvious because I will add shadows from the lights, from the letters, so it will not be.
Right. It'll push that back.
And yeah, actually we can do that now. Now that I added the bubbles, I'm going to make all these layers, I will merge them. And so these are in front and these are behind. I will make them red again just to
keep
know
track.
where. Yeah. Okay, so an interesting way to do the shadows is to, so this on top, I will duplicate this layer and I would like to make the bottom one, I would like to make it black. So there are multiple ways to do it black. I prefer to go with blending options because this will make it totally black. It will not have any like shade of gray, dark gray.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm going to color overlay black. Yeah. And this is where magic happens because I really like this part. It's you can see the shadow behind and it really gets 3D because it has exactly the same gaps from the bubble and the fading, and I really like that. We can have it, we can make it a smart object again because I would like to make it a bit more blurry, so I will add a Gaussian blur. Yeah, not that much. Maybe there. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, I think it's okay. I would like to make it more obvious, so I will add some more shadows on there. And so let's go and add one more layer here. Now we're starting to have not a lot of organization on the layers, but anyway, shadows of bubbles maybe. And I'm going to do it manually now, like that. So to add more contrast between the bubble and the background, also
Gotcha.
here as well. And yeah, here is fine. Yeah, oh, here. And it's good to have also shadows on the back. Yeah, I don't like here the shadow on top of the bubble.
Right,
Maybe,
it's overlapping it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I will hide that with a mask. Yeah, like this.
Look at
that. and here I didn't like that, so yeah. And yeah, I think the rest are good. So on that one, I will add some shadows with a clipping mask. This case, it will work. So from the letter B to be on the bubble, and the same as here. Like that.
I'll just take this moment to do a quick reminder to everybody that we're doing an artist spotlight today. We're about 45 minutes into day 2 with Angelo Konofaos. Very excited to be doing this. We're getting bubbles on our 3D letters now, and everything amazingly has been done with 2D software. So pretty cool, pretty exciting. But yeah, if you guys want to be in the artist spotlight, if you know somebody you want to nominate for the artist spotlight, please go into the chat on the top right corner. It says artist spotlight. You guys can fill out the form and vote. And hopefully next time you can see yourself or one of your friends on the artist spotlight here. It's a good place for us to hype the artists and expose you guys to some new work.
Yeah, I'm thinking now what I could add some details, like more lines. like more curved, which will follow. It's kind of connecting the bubbles with the letters. Let's see how they will be, and we can see if they will work. So I will make that a new layer on top. And so here we have to be careful so the curves to look smooth and not.
Right. Especially with something like this, a perfect circle, it could get a little wonky if you don't do it right.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do, let's see how this will be. So I'm going to make it based on the brush, on the settings of the brush. So I'm like a hard brush, and yeah, the size is fine. White. Let's see how this will be. Wait, we have to change one more thing. And then, no. For example, here I don't really like the curve. It's very, it would be smoother, I think. So, and also a smaller brush, but okay. Maybe here would be better.
Oh, they're yelling at us to save again. So quick.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Good job, everybody.
In 50 minutes again, please.
Yes. But we only do it if it's all caps. You have to put it in all caps.
Yep. Okay, so I think this line works well. And if we add a shadow, will be even better. But you know what I'm talking about connecting them? It's kind of add an element which is related to both.
Yeah, it's and this is where obviously these are artistic choices. This is where it starts to get really cool, where you're adding those design elements that maybe you wouldn't normally think of. But this is kind of what is going to take it to the next step and also make it uniquely your own.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to spend today on all of these effects, because they are kind of like many details, but that's what makes a difference and make it more interesting.
And especially with the lettering, I mean, it's all about rhythm, and letters need to connect together. They need to create a rhythm. There's always even when you laid it out in pencil, there was a grid, there was a direction, you had your angles all set up properly when you did pure. And so this is kind of one of those, adding more movement into the words. I think it helps it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And in the end, lettering is drawing the letters, not writing them. So
right.
The more the effects, the better. I'm not a big fan of the shadow. I don't really like it, so I will probably remove that. And also the highlights. Maybe I will move that totally, and I will add a new highlight. Yeah.
I think this is also cool to see, where I think it's important with any type of design is to never get married or never, commit too far to some of the things that you've done, and make sure that you're always kind of looking at your work with a critical eye, even up until the end. And obviously you want to try to make a lot of those decisions earlier on. You don't want something that you did in the beginning be like, oh, that doesn't work, and I just spent 15 hours on it. But little things like that, where you at each step kind of continue to look at it and see if those are the right shapes or right design choices. So it's nice to see you kind of going back and reworking things here and there, just to make sure that it enhances the work and doesn't take away from it.
Yeah, exactly. And because I didn't like this line because it was not very nice curve. So I think it's worth most of the times when we design something to go back, zoom out, see what works, what not, and feel free to remove anything that you don't like.
Yeah, and I think with digital, I think it's one of the harder things for people sometimes, because you are on a screen. but it's something that I remember learning really early on, especially with like figure drawing or other traditional practices, is it was always, you know, step back as far as you can and look at it. You know, don't get too close, don't stay too close the whole time. You really want to step back, look at the work, look at the composition, see how it works on a really small scale. That helps out a lot, because sometimes if you're deep in it, especially with digital, you can kind of get lost in the details and lose the overall picture of the design. So it's always important to kind of step back from your design and then take a look, take a quick break, and come back with fresh eyes again.
Yeah, I mean, always, like, you know, it's sometimes doesn't look very good when you're close to the design, like now, but when you go out, it looks better. Like, you know, I don't mean not this part though. I don't like that. I'll remove that completely, I think. I will add some lines instead. Yeah. Okay. Oh, the opacity is slow. Why is slow? Okay, yeah, I prefer to add some lines like this instead. So we are on, yeah. Maybe it will be something like a weird shape. Yeah. I don't know how this will be, but we can try that.
Yeah, just see how it looks. Kind of like,
yeah,
referencing that dripping effect almost, but
yeah, and sometimes the path looks good, but when you add the stroke, it doesn't look that good.
Right.
Wait, I need. It's not bad. We don't really see this part of the line, but yeah, we can fix that. Whoops.
And you have those same settings on for this lines as you did earlier with the highlights, right?
Yes. We need to highlight. Yeah, that's the same settings. I just did a different path here. I will make a save again because I'm seeing something weird here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know why. No, because I added that. What is that? No, I shouldn't have that. Yeah, that's now better.
There you go.
I don't know how I may
Was
click
that
something on the keyboard.
Is that another mask, or I don't know what the?
Yeah, it was kind of a different path, but it was a path mask or something. Okay, and maybe I can add some here, maybe, yeah. Because we don't have on letter N, we can add some. I mean, you can play like with the shapes and have different kind of whatever thing it works. Maybe that's a bit thick, but
I really like that though. I like that shape right there.
Yeah,
and
I like how
again, like you're saying, these are all kind of informing the other shapes that are already there. You know, it's nothing's fighting against it. It's all working together.
Yeah, exactly. So even here, that this curve is not perfect. Maybe this will make it look better. And so I will make that. No, I don't see that working.
Bruce had a question for you, Bruce Gonzalez. he's just looking at your Behance page and he's wondering, do you make your own type? Do you reference stock type? Do you have,
Like,
certain people that you follow that you kind of use as reference for your, so like, let's say you did Pure, right? And that was all hand drawn.
mhm.
Do you ever take a font or a typeface and kind
Yeah.
of use that as a basis for kind of designing? Do you ever design over it?
Yeah.
Or is it usually
Very,
always freehand?
very good point, Bruce, because I wanted to mention that, but I forgot about it. So yeah, instead of the lettering at the top, you can use whatever font you'd like, and especially if it is like calligraphic style or lettering. But you can also mix, a more block font. I do have some fonts which I have created. Actually, one of them is based on lettering style. But yeah, most of the times I do it hand drawn. Sometimes I use my own fonts, or sometimes I use other fonts. But I like having it hand drawn, like, on a sketch, or or with a brush pen, and then transfer it in Illustrator. But yeah, very good point, because I had that in mind to mention that, yeah, you don't have to do your own words, but you can use fonts.
Yeah, because I think for a lot of people it can be intimidating. I think obviously, especially for beginners or anybody that wants to try to get into it. I think, like you said, it's good to kind of use a lot of those early references, use other people's fonts. I mean, that's why they make them, for you to use them.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think like anything, eventually you want to try to have everything be your own, or at least make it from scratch if you can. But I think for a lot of these things, it's you can use other people's work, and especially for experimenting.
Yeah, as you said, that's why fonts exist, because that's why people do it, because we can have more resources, more things to work with, and sometimes it's easier and quicker to use a font instead of having a new lettering. But yeah.
So how long have you been doing this professionally? Like, how long have you been a designer? Then how long, would you say that work was mostly based off of typography?
So I have been designing since 2011 or 2012, like 10 years ago. But I wasn't into lettering in typography that much. But yeah, around 2015, when I found out the whole community of calligraphy and lettering on social media, I was impressed with what they can do. And I remember I have read something like, music is like how music is for ears, is calligraphy for eyes. And I think that's true. I mean, lettering is not calligraphy, but it's kind of, they are related with each other.
Right.
So yeah, I really like, especially on some videos that people are handwriting, and
oh my gosh. Yeah, some of those. I mean, I've just seen those in reels or whatever, little videos online, social media. It's like it's just unreal, the amount of draftsmanship that goes into those.
They make it look so
perfect.
easy.
Yeah, it is not at all.
So yeah, it was about 2015, 2016 that I discovered that, and I was more into lettering and typography in general. Before that, I was mostly about the fonts. I would like to explore more on the weights, how they work together, how to pair the fonts, and to follow the meaning of its design, the purpose.
Now, are you currently freelance, or do you work for a company, or?
I work for a company. I was a freelancer, but now I work for a company on the marketing department, and it's kind of it's not very lettering related, but I really like, do lettering stuff on my own, and especially on YouTube, like where I would like to share ways how to create stuff. And when we are discussing with in the comments, when someone asks me something, and it's very satisfying, or when I see, Instagram people trying to use my techniques and they tag me, it's very satisfying. So yeah, it's awesome. Kind of trying to do both styles. Because I also like branding, when you follow a brand and make it work with different terms of design and, even animation or motion or videos. That's why I was saying, that I also like other fields, like also photography. That's something I'm very I'm trying to explore more, especially when we combine that with lettering. I don't know if you have seen any photos that we can take a photo and then have a lettering piece interacting with masks, interacting with the background. So imagine, for example, a tree, and blend a word into the tree and hide some parts so it's kind of interacting.
Yeah, no, totally, yeah.
And it's very nice to mix it like this. Okay, so let's add one more here, and then we can move with the next effect.
So Angelo, just to let you know, we got about 30 minutes, a little less, until we do the artist spotlight. So just letting you know. Okay. Also, everybody, that's a good time to say that doing the artist spotlight today in about 30 minutes. And if you guys want to nominate yourself or nominate somebody else, there's the tab up at the chat. It says artist spotlight. Go ahead, click on that, fill out the form. And we like to spotlight an artist on these days and just kind of give a shout out and talk about their work and hype them up, and hopefully you guys will follow them.
Okay, so sorry, I was I was trying to see how it would work to add some brushes now. I would like to add some splashes on the letters.
Yes.
So I have some brushes which are kind of, more of a splash kind of. Let's try with something like this and see how they work. Whoops, not one. And so I will add a new clipping mask because I would like to add the splashes on the word pure. Let's name that splash. See? Yeah. And I don't want to have it very obvious, so I would like to more, I will choose a color similar to blue, which is close to where I will put the brush. So if I do that, and maybe if I put it under the shadow, so like this is better. And we can choose another brush. So I have these brushes, I got them a long time ago. Some of them are free, some of them are like I have purchased them because people may ask, on the chat about the brushes. And I usually I'm searching for, especially with splash and ink brushes, I really like them.
Yeah.
And we can try with that.
Bruce has got another great question for you.
Have
you ever had any of this stuff kind of blown up, like giant scale and advertising, marketing? Have you seen anything off the computer screen that seen this scaled up?
In terms of lettering, in general, yes. I mean, other designs. In terms of lettering, most of them are about, logo types or apparel, or decoration online, but in to be printed. I had once in my previous job. I was working in another company, and so we're printing a lot of stuff, and we were advertising. We could create a lettering to advertise something, and one of them was in a big banner. in a building, but not very large, but it was quite satisfying seeing it from the street. And
Yeah, have you ever mocked up any of this stuff in Photoshop on like sides of buildings or anything? Or
yes,
you should.
I have, but mostly for Instagram and social media, because they look good when you add them. They look fake. Actually, they don't look fake, but it is fake because I just mock up on the building. Yeah, I had done some. I don't really know where are they now. They should be on my feed on Instagram, maybe at the bottom.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah. Okay, let's move forward with that. Yeah. And maybe something like another brush. This is a good one. Yeah.
And are you kind of using where those blue little areas of blue are kind of informing where you're putting these splashes a little bit?
What do you mean? Sorry?
I've just noticed where you're putting the splashes, kind of like where the blue like lighting is.
Yeah, exactly. So I would like to have similar colors on the.
Yeah.
Is that yeah?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so maybe a purple here. Nope. But yeah, I don't want to add so many splashes, but yeah, let's add one more. Yeah, and then we can continue later with more brushes if you would like. But yeah, also we could add on the background some. So on the mask on the background, the black color, we can make it bigger and add like a splash like that maybe. So
and are these going to be splashes that kind of reveal the image? This is on the mask, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe with that one, yeah, or I like that one. I think it's too bright. Maybe we can lower the opacity a bit and then. Yeah. And then in the other direction too. So maybe like that on the bottom.
Yeah, just really kind of start out really subtle.
Yeah. Okay. And maybe one more in this direction at the top. Yeah. Okay. And then we can add a shadow from the whole lettering on the background, so we can have more realistic here, some shadow on the background. But there's two ways to do that. We can do that first with the blending option. We can add a drop shadow effect of the whole lettering, but I think it would be better to do it manually in this case because we have many layers and it will be difficult to organize them. So I will add a new layer here. I will make that shadow again. And I'm going to take a smooth brush again and about that size, black color. And I will try to make, something like this, but.
Okay, so now you're kind of adding a little more shadows under the letters themselves. Yeah. Okay, just push them out a little bit more.
Yeah, we could do that with blending option. Will be like more consistent with the letters and more accurate, but it's fine to do with that. I mean, maybe it's better because we can add shadows wherever we like.
Right.
Same as for the pure. So now I don't know if you can see it, but I actually adding shadows, but it kind of very not very hard. Also, I would like to add some shadows here on the bubble. I forgot to add on this bubble. So we can add like this. And whoops. Because that's behind, right? Okay. So I'm going to bring the bubble down under the pure. That's what I mean with, that's exactly what I mean with the layers. Now I'm trying to find a way to make them work. So if I didn't have organized them here with the letters, it would be even more difficult. So now it's kind of, I can find a way to not be very, very confusing. Yeah, let's keep it like this. Okay. And I'm planning to add some adjustment layers, but I think after the artist spotlight, we will have some time, right? So we can do it.
Yeah, usually artist spotlight's usually 5 to 10 minutes, and then you'll usually have another 15 minutes or so afterwards.
Yeah, and yeah, it would be nice to close with this final adjustment, which are very, very good actually for, in general, all the designs. I believe when you're having something designed, then if you add some adjustment layers on the lighting and the colors, it will make it like a, double the, it will be better most of the times.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I don't know too many people with, especially with illustration and rendering. It's like you almost always have to have adjustments at the end, and also too, just with output, everybody's screens are different. I know with my, like how it looks on my Cintiq isn't exactly how it looks on my desktop, and so I'm always kind of adjusting for that as well. And so, but it's a good way too, like you said, to kind of see a little more of what your color options are. Maybe it could be more saturated, or the vibrance, or
exactly, because your eye get used to the colors now, but now they're really faded out, the colors. So if I add the contrast adjustment layer, it will be totally better.
Right, you could punch it up and make more of an impact.
I can add a bit of.
All right, Chris is yelling at us to save. double save. What? Caps.
Oh. Save, yeah. Yay. Thanks, Chris.
Right. Woo.
Okay, and so I create a new layer for some signs with the gradient tool. No, I can. So there's two ways again for that. We can do with a gradient tool like this with white color, obviously. But I will show another way which I use a lot. So I will add one of these here. But there's another one I like. So I will create a new layer. This is
where it's going to get real pretty. This is, you need this.
So let's say I would like to add highlight here. So I'm adding 2 strokes. We need to see how the brush is, and we need to have like, not very thick brush, but yeah. And so yeah, one line will be like that, and one line will be like that. So to make it more clear, we can have it like this, and then we will add a gradient on top of that, like that. Maybe we could have a bit thinner lines, but we will make that even smaller. And when you add like, these 2 strokes, it makes the sign more dynamic and more like, obvious. So now that we're close, it looks like too bright maybe, but if we go like that, I think it's how it should be. Like not too much, but you can realize that there is something there. And then we can copy these to several locations, rotate them. And yeah, maybe on the bubbles as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe one here.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I think you know what you're doing. I wasn't sure in the beginning. It's like you're a professional. It's weird. I don't know. Yeah,
no, and
go ahead.
No, it's just I have some other like for example the signs. I just got in mind some other signs that we can create now. Which I have some things in mind like from the beginning to do about the effects, and now I'm just trying to think about even more to show people like different kind of styles, and people can use whichever they like most. So,
we love that stuff. So please, anything else that you can show us within the time. I mean,
maybe
that's why people are here, right?
Exactly, and maybe the design will not be perfect in terms of you don't have to put all of the effects on one design. It will not look good. It will be too much. But I think we can like create more. More of techniques and sell that. So one thing I'm going to do
if these are all on different layers, you can always take them off in the end if you want to present it or anything else.
Yeah. And now what I'm going to do, I also like to have this kind of flair, so I'm taking the selection tool in a circle shape, and I will put that like this, and I will right click and make a stroke, like a very thin stroke, maybe 2 pixels will be enough. It depends on how large is the file, but maybe a bigger selection. No, maybe a small and a big. Now. So this is like a different kind of flare of bright.
Yeah, like a lens flare kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. So these are mostly inspired by, I remember when I was a teenager, I was doing a bit of graffiti and this kind of stuff, and I was watching other people doing. So I remember that they were doing so simple moves, and they were so beautiful. This sign was 2 lines and then just with a spray in the middle, and it was like, it actually looks like a lens flare.
Yeah.
So literally, this is not the one with the circles, but this is where I find out about that. So it's kind of old technique. I will add also a circle here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this reminds me of a lot of stuff that I've seen, other graffiti artists and street artists, just kind of what they use and techniques they use. Because also, like I said, this feels very airbrushed, which also, with the right artist and the right kind of can control, could also just be spray paint. It's really cool. And you can definitely see the influences.
Exactly. But if you think about it, when you do digital, you can correct anything you like. You have layers.
Yeah, I mean,
so you don't have to go back.
Yeah, I mean, the guy you see these guys do it on a wall, and it's kind of unreal. Kind of techniques that they can do, and because obviously spray paint is pretty unforgiving at points. So
yeah. Okay, so this one was right. And we can add some shadows from that. We didn't do that. So again, I will duplicate that. I will add a blending option to make it black, and I will move that lower like this. And so you see here how is kind of a real shadow. But I would like to make that a bit blurry. Let's go from there. I think this is okay. And maybe lower the opacity down just a bit. Oops.
If you guys are just joining us, we are with graphic and typography designer Angelo Konofaos. And we are working on this pretty awesome pure blend lettering here. We've got an artist spotlight in just about 10 minutes. So if you're here in the chat with us, you can see the tab in the upper right-hand corner saying artist spotlight. Please open it, fill it out. You can nominate yourself or an artist that you know to be in the spotlight. But please stick around. We've doing this for about another 40 minutes or so. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this ends. This is day 2. If you guys want to watch day 1, it's in the archives. So please go watch day 1, kind of see how this all starts. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It starts as a pencil sketch, and this is, where we are with technically, 4 hours later, about, so pretty cool.
And if anyone has any questions, feel free to send to me or comment below. I will have a look and I will reply.
Yeah, send
usually,
relentless emails.
Questions. Or emails. Yeah, whatever works.
Angelo has all the time in the world. Just send him emails.
No, I mean, when sometimes, especially on YouTube, when you have to reply to comments, sometimes there are too many and you have to reply. But yeah, I'm trying to reply to all, and so I apologize if it takes some time, but especially on YouTube. But yeah,
you're a better man than most. I think a lot of people have a hard time responding to some things, or there's so many questions. But that's awesome that you do, because your YouTube channel, you're saying, I mean, this is kind of what you do. You love kind of teaching these techniques. And
and sometimes awesome. I have actually most of the times in my latest videos, I have the working files available. Sometimes they're under a small amount of money, but most of the time, sometimes I have it free, so people can have a look and would like to see. We'll have the working file so they can explore with that.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's definitely another layer I think that a lot of people appreciate, is seeing how those layers are built, kind of being able to tweak it in the program and not just seeing a flat JPEG or file.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just having a look now and see some things that I would like to adjust, and I'm adding like random stuff. Like, we can add some shadows here. We can even make it, let's do that. So the word pure, I would like to make, okay, we have the shadow here, but I would like to make a stronger shadow. Like there's an extra light, which will make it look like, we'll have a clear shape of the word. So let's try that and see how this will be. So create a new layer. I will make that black. And I will move that down a bit. It is under that. Okay. So so what I'm doing now is adding a pure word under, like, we have a stronger shadow, but the thing is that the word is behind the word blend, so you can see it here.
Right.
Okay, so we can actually do that. I will rasterize that. And also the layer style. And I'm going to take this piece, layer cut, and I will move it above letter L. It makes more sense now with I imagine with all the layers and the grouping that I did earlier. And so I like this. Yeah. Okay, so now I have something here, and I will do that. Oh, yeah, some adjustments. So you can see more of a bigger shadow now. It's kind of give a bit more depth, like there is an extra light there, like somewhere here. One will have like a stronger shadows, one will have more smoother. And I can also do that just a bit of blur, but not so much because I don't want to lose the effect. So not that much, maybe there. And the same with this. copy layer style, and where is it? Yeah. So yeah, we have also the same, like not very strong over the opacity, and but we don't have the blur, so we can add the Gaussian blur too. Yeah, it is very like, you know, into details, but I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like we were saying earlier, these are the details that kind of enhance the work and make it feel really finished. That it's funny because if you saw it before, you're like, it doesn't need anything else, and then but then you look at it afterwards, you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, we can
that
add
just
something
made it 10
more.
times better. Yeah.
Yeah, or even here we can go on the shadow and add some. This time I'm going to do with shapes, and I just follow the shape of letter E. Okay, and new layer again. Now I'm just don't name the layers because it is already like a big mess.
We don't have time for that.
Yeah, it's not about time. It's kind of okay. I got enough with the layers, with the naming. Now I will have to search for everything to find, like, you know, okay, like this. So you can see there is kind of two shadows, one smooth, one stronger. And I will do the same here. Yep. And again, fill it with black. And we're going to have, how much the opacity was here? 18. Oh, only 18. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Maybe a bit more. So it is more obvious. Yeah. And we can add one more. So yeah, usually the layers kind of named like shadows, more shadows, extra shadows, because I like to add a lot of different kind of shadows. And maybe
I think I'm amazed at kind of where we're at and how much detail looks like it was put into this. Not that there wasn't, but it, you know, it just looks so rendered and there's so much, but really it's just a bunch of really great techniques put together that have slowly pushed it to this place where it's, you know, it's done really well. I mean, your time management and kind of where you're putting your efforts seem to maximize the design without it being overworked, because, you know, there's a ton of ways you can approach this, right? I mean, it's Photoshop, so but I like the way that you're doing it. It seems like it all makes sense, and you're like, yeah, why wouldn't you do it that way? It's going to save so much time and look just as great.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has like its own style, its own way to work in Photoshop. And so there isn't a correct or wrong way, but it's how people are feeling comfortable to do it and are more familiar with. So yeah, and I'm going to add some shadows here again.
And just to let you know, in like about a minute, we're going to switch over to the artist spotlight. Okay. So if you want to just get to a quick stopping point, yeah.
Okay, this is one of the last things I will do.
Perfect.
Like, you know, like we have something like that here. And I'm going to save it, of course.
Yes.
Why nobody said on the chat, right?
Yeah, no one's
that was me. I remember that.
They're talking about their own things. I don't know. There's something's going on with Carol and Steve. They're just, you guys got to remember to yell at us. We need you.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good here for now. We can return with adjustment layers.
Okay, cool. Well, the time is now. It is the artist spotlight. Everybody's been waiting for this. It's always exciting.
Okay.
And today, I think the person in the artist spotlight is a friend of yours, correct?
It is, yeah. So I think, yeah, I heard Chris earlier. You mentioned like
Yeah,
the
he
name,
was
I
in the
think.
chat. Yeah, he was saying hi. He was saying what's up. I think he yelled at you to save at one
To save it, yeah, that's what I remember.
junctures. Yeah.
Hey, Chris. So yeah, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
introduce us to him and just give us let him know
So
about his
yeah,
work.
Chris is a very good designer, I know, and his work is amazing. He's done a lot of he's doing graphics, but also motion graphics and animation and video. And actually, I'm very inspired by him in terms of especially on video. And he has some very good clients, as you can see. And for example, here we have most of the titles, many of the titles that he's done on Netflix on the Greek way, because the titles have to be translated to other languages. So here they are translated to Greek, and it's kind of very interesting because if you see here, it's kind of, you have to match the same font. And something that people don't know is that in Greek language, there are not so many, all of the fonts that are in English are not existing Greek. So many times we have to recreate the font, or even make it by hand, like this one, which is, it's kind of, I think he was using a brush pen maybe, and yeah.
And I think this is something that you don't always think about with, like you said, like this entertainment's being seen all over the world. But kind of that challenge for a designer to copy a style, to recreate it, and then to use a different alphabet is definitely its own set of challenges.
Exactly. Or to create the same effect with, this is the Lord of the Rings, for example. You have to create the same shiny effect on this yellow, like a ring, which is kind of sometimes difficult, and you don't really know how to, what brushes to use or what effects. It depends where you're working. But yeah, and let's see. Marvel, yeah, that's, I don't know if you like comics, and I believe you do as illustrator. You should like comics, or
yeah. I'm working on a comic right now, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love comics.
So I remember, I imagine you are inspired by Marvel as well, like the heroes and and this is a different technique. These things with polygonal illustrations. I remember I wanted to do things like that also on Illustrator. And so it's kind of, you have to select the colors. Oh yeah, here.
These portraits are really cool.
Wolverine was my all-time favorite, by the way, from Marvel.
Oh yeah, Wolverine's the best. He's always been the best. His attitude, the kind of anti-hero. I don't think a lot of people know he's a very tiny. Well, he's only like 5'2", I think, in the comics. Just like he's really short.
Oh yeah.
They never make him that way, but he's not very big.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't thought about it, but now that you're saying on the comics, especially on the animations, he's kind of very flexible with doing rounds and things like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a really cool project.
That's a close-up. Yeah. So.
And are these official projects? Are these things that he's doing? Are these like mock-ups for projects, or is he? Are these?
There should be mock-ups, because I think I saw a t-shirt up there, right? Yeah, like
very cool.
Yeah, I don't know if they're kind of I think they're mock-ups or fan art, something like that. I'm not sure, to be honest. Oh yes, that one. I
looked at this one earlier, and this one was really cool.
I like the presentation.
And the kind of the inspiration for it, I thought was really cool, which you see down in a little bit.
Yeah, especially with the mountains. I also like how on the animation the mountains are creating. And look, I really like when I see on my hands these kind of presentations with not straight lines, but we have a picture interacting with the next line, with the next image. I really like these presentations.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great example of how to present your work.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if you're a
exactly.
potential client looking for a designer and this is what you come across, you'll obviously have no problem knowing that this person knows exactly what they're doing
Yeah.
and can present
Oh,
it
yeah.
to your
Because
client or
sometimes,
somebody, your product.
yeah, and sometimes this has to be like a full image, not or split it by many images. I
Mhm.
like that very much. That's
Yeah.
that's the hang from the climbing wall, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, these are great mock-ups. A lot of the stuff is really
Yeah,
cool, really inventive, how he put these together.
and yeah, and oh, these are cards, and I like that. It's not a classic shape. It's kind of more
It's got the carabiner, the
disruptive.
holding it right clipped in right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah. And let's see another one. Actually, I was looking earlier, and that one. I really like the animation at the beginning. Here you can see the color change.
Oh,
I think
that's
it's
cool.
very, yeah, I like that one. And yeah, it's kind of a nice identity. And also, again, with the presentation here, it's very nice how the shapes are.
And his presentations are now you can kind of see that this is coming from the same designer. It's like they don't feel the same, but the
Good
way
point.
he's displaying these have a similar feel.
Yeah, good point, because you can see that, yeah, you can recognize the style, and I like
Which
how
is
the
hard to
colors.
do. I mean, you've got all these different brands, but to kind of still put your stamp, your mark on it as the designer, that's really,
Look at that.
It's really talented.
And oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, I like that one. Yeah, also, yeah, about the videos, he also has a YouTube channel, which is very good, and he talks a lot of things about graphic design, but also interviews. But what I like most is usually he puts like several effects from After Effects on his videos. I don't know if I can play that just on the beginning, because I was looking at that earlier, and I can remove the sound now. But it's kind of, you can see that was very cool. That was very cool.
It's little things like that, right? That can make a huge impact.
Yeah, or for example, you see the motion here. He's very good at that. Yeah, it's kind of, he has like a very good cinematic view of videography, and he's very good. Yeah, that one was good, Daddy.
Well, very cool. Is there one last one you'd want to look at?
Okay, let's see which one. Yeah, that one. I like the cover of that. And
Saucy Jack.
That's an event, right? Yeah, because it has dates. I like that one. I like the colors, because the color scheme is kind of vintage, but at the same time it's kind of modern. Like,
yes,
yeah, I love this kind of colors.
And this is great, like where he has on the if you scroll down a little bit, this rusted branding logo right here, how he integrated this right down there. That's really great.
Yeah. That's a mock-up, right? Very, very nice how it is. Maybe that is made with a multiply or any like color.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, just kind of integrated into the to kind of let the texture show through. Yeah.
That's clever. And
I mean, especially with branding, it's like you want to make sure that that you see it on the product, you see it in the real world. He obviously does a great job of that.
And it's nice because I think it was about, I think I saw Australia on the top, and it's kind of, the surf is a big thing in Australia, and maybe the event is about that. I don't know. Probably because kind of I can see sports. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like the posters.
And so it's Chris Ellinas. Is that how you say his last name?
It's Chris Ellinas, yeah.
Ellinas.
And
okay.
So yeah, make sure to have a look on his Behance. Actually, he's take a very good taste on his Behance. If you see here, he also has the use of the NFT on Behance, and I would like to have a better look on that. because
Very cool.
as someone mentioned yesterday about NFTs, it's kind of
Right.
maybe I should
Yeah.
take
Start
into
dipping
that.
your toes in that. Yeah. Well, very cool. It's very, very cool to see Chris's work. He's obviously very talented. Chris, if you're still in the chat, awesome job, man. I mean, excited to see more from you. But yeah, if you guys, it's the artist spotlight.
Okay.
You know, again, if you want to nominate somebody yourself, fill out the form in the top right of the chat. Chris Ellinas, very cool work. Yeah, and let's get back. Let's see.
Okay,
Got about
so
15 minutes left total.
good.
So let's see what else we can do here.
Okay, let's start with blending with the adjustment layers, because that's something I definitely want to add. And so I always start with the curves. That's my first thing to do when I finish a design.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to add more contrast. So I'm just adding some more like bright feeling, but also dark. So maybe I overdid it, but yeah. So maybe there you can see the difference, that it really stands out with the colors. And I don't know if that's visible through the call, but I can see a big difference here.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I will add that one, maybe not too bright. Yeah, I think it's good there. And then I can go for a different color. I don't know if anyone from the audience has a preference on the color. I will try some, but yeah. Oh,
so yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, you just start adjusting these things. You're like, oh, all right. Maybe this
I like the green with yellow. That's kind of. I like here the shades of blue and blue purple. This kind of color. Yeah.
Let us know in the chat really quick, guys, if there's any color combination you want to see, or anything you want them to try.
And maybe here's not very. Okay, I think I was more into this side. Maybe here, because I like this green blue color.
Right.
And if we increase also the saturation a bit, it will be, a bit more of, not that much, but here. So let's see how it was before. Yeah, I think I prefer the new one.
Yeah, that's got a little more punch.
Yeah. And okay, let's have a look. Yeah, one of my other favorites is the color Lookup. So many people don't use that, and I think it's very powerful adjustment layer. So I don't know, do you usually use that on your illustrations, or you go straight with the colors you like?
Yeah, no, I don't. Please show me.
Okay, that's good. That's what I wanted to hear.
I want to see it.
Okay, so here I don't really know all of the settings, but the first one is what I use. So I change all of the colors to see the combination, because it's kind of it's changing the colors to a way that is not very easy to do with hue and saturation. So I'm trying them all. So yeah, you can see the difference here. Sometimes it's just hue or saturation, but some other is kind of more of this is kind of a dramatic style.
And what is this under?
What do you mean? Sorry.
So we're in the adjustment. So we're in the properties layer now, right? Properties.
It is on the adjustment layers, and this here color Lookup.
Okay. Color Lookup. Okay.
Yeah, and so yeah, here's too vibrant. It looks good with the contrast here on the B, but I don't really like it on this part.
Right.
That's something like winter style, as it says, crisp winter look. Nope. No. But yeah, in general, like you trying all of the letters here and
just kind of seeing if something pops out.
Yeah. Or here, for example, it's kind of different kind of cameras, I think. I don't know what does it mean exactly, but maybe it has to do with old school cameras, because some of them are kind of more vintage. Here, for example, it's called horror blue, and it is actually, if we had a word for a film which kind of horror film, it would fit, like, it would be the specific color for horror films, this blue kind of. I think I like one from the top. Yeah, let's see these last ones, but I always go through all of them and then that one is nice, but no. Okay, I think I like one from the top, and was that vibrant. Was that one? Yeah, I like that one. I think it's a bit more.
Just adds a little something.
Yeah. Okay, I will go with that. Sometimes I play with some more adjustment layers, like the brightness and contrast, but I think I added a lot of contrast with the curves. So I'm going to leave it like this with the adjustment layers. And as long as we have some time, I would like to show another cool effect on the word pure. So I usually add shadows manually again on the top word, which is at the moment it's white, so it's not very interesting, let's say. So I'm going to the word pure. I will add a new layer. Actually, we can use that one, which is shadows. Let's add a new one just in case we don't want to mix them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them like the lines are curving. I will show exactly what I mean, because maybe it's not the okay, so I will make this selection, and then I will take a smooth brush, black, but also we can take colors. I may add some more colors later. So I will do that, and we'll make it like a 3D, like there are curves on the letter. And okay, like that. And probably here can be folding like this.
Yeah, that looks awesome. I feel like I've seen this in some of the other work as well.
Yeah, I like using that technique. Sometimes it takes time. It depends how big is the word, because you have to do it manually, and you have to see how many shadows you can add. But yeah, I think also here you can do something good with the letter R. So if we go, nope, I want to go this way. I like to leave some space on the side, like, it's kind of give another dynamic to it. I have seen many lettering artists adding this shadow, but they don't leave spacing on the side here. So this is what I mean. But I like that. Yeah, and then I'm going to, okay, let's say that this line could be like that, right? So you should have a shadow here. Okay, that will be a bit difficult, but let's try that. It will be like this, and yeah. I don't know if this will work here, but we can try and see. No, it was like this.
Just so you know, Angelo, we've got about 5 minutes tops. So in just a few minutes, so finish this stuff up in just a few minutes, do a bit of a recap.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it's cool. I'm glad we actually got to this part. because
yeah, me too. I wasn't. I didn't know if we will have time to do this, to explain this process, for example. But I think
because we did so much with the blend, and so it's nice that there's this last kind of little element on that pure. I think it's really cool.
But yeah, I will continue working on that, and I will add all the shadows here probably, and yeah, I will post it also on social media. So if anyone would like to check the final result, feel free to check it.
Yeah, definitely. Come on, people, follow Angelo. This guy's wealth of knowledge. He's easy to understand. I mean, your process is great. This whole experience has been, for me, it's been easy to follow because I've been here the whole time. But yeah, this is
exactly. If anyone has
looks
any
complicated, but it's not, right?
Yeah, but for some reason, people don't really know the exact tools that I use, which makes sense. I don't know the tools that other designers use. So if anyone have any question on how to make stuff, you can send me a message or a DM or on YouTube, any comments, so other people can see that. But yeah, feel free to.
Well, Angelo, please take us through, kind of what we did these past 2 days.
Okay, so we started with, we wanted to do a lettering with 2 different styles. One was based on vectorizing a sketch on Illustrator. So if people wasn't with us yesterday, it was this sketch, and then I used a pen tool and I did it like that. And then we transferred that into Photoshop and we started creating the word blend. With the blend word, we added 2 images, 2 colorful images, because we wanted to use the mixer brush tool, and the correct way to do that, not the correct way, in my opinion, what I prefer is to load the brush with one image and color in the other image, so we can have both colors. For example, here we have both the blue and the purple. So yeah, with the mixer brush tool, it's very powerful. People should use it more. And so then we added some effects. These effects were kind of a clipping mask on each layer to add some shadows, to add some highlights. We were thinking that there's a light here, so we can have more highlights from this side and shadows on the other. We added a lot of effects like bubbles. We created bubbles from scratch and we duplicate them in many places. We added some signs, some details, which then we make them a bit blurry, and we gave this ceramic plastic effect on the letters. And we added even more shadows, like this. We had plenty of layers, which we grouped to be more organized, but yeah, there are many layers called shadows at the moment.
And don't look at the layers.
Yeah,
anxiety inducing for some people, I'm sure.
There are too many. And we also used for the background, we used one of the images we had, and on top we had this was the image on the background, and we had also a black layer to make it like more, to have some contrast between the background and the foreground. And we also used some brushes to make some splattered brushes to give these details also on the background. And I think, and finally we added some adjustment layers, of course, which are very important, because not only on lettering and design, also in photography, if anybody does photography, gives more depth, like the contrast make things look more realistic and more like alive. And in the end we added some more shadows here on the word pure, and which I will continue adding on the rest of on the word, but yeah, with a pen tool, which is kind of also, you can do like a lot of things with a pen tool. But if anyone was not from the beginning on the video, as you said, they can go back and check the video, because there are many things like we were doing along the way.
Right.
I didn't mention. So.
No, it's fine. You don't have to do everything. Well, Angelo, thank you so much for coming on Adobe Live. It's been an awesome 2 days with you. I learned a lot. I have a feeling everybody else learned a lot. Seeing that mixer brush in action was pretty awesome.
I'm very glad to hear this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and if you guys didn't catch the first day, please go watch that before you watch the second day, so you guys can catch up. But yeah, it's great 2 days. Thank you so much for being here. We just want to continue with the logo theme. Stick around for a creative encore of the Illustrator challenges, where you will learn how to create and use logos in the app, immediately following editing a product commercial with video editor and social media creator Noah Fainer. And then there's going to be one more final announcement. Adobe Live will not be airing masterclasses this Friday due to a global day off at the Adobe offices. So everybody at Adobe, enjoy. And Angelo Konofaos, thank you so much for being with us. It was awesome. It was a joy. And have a great
Thank
evening.
you very much. Thank you. It was
All right, everybody.
very exciting. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, guys.